Hi people.
Waiting they happen.
Things they happen, no. Things they really happen.
In the street, things are really happening. So I want to share this story with you. Like something, in fact, someone told me this is my own personal story. Someone told or said this to my face. I have forgotten what we're talking about, right? So we're talking about, I think maybe about childbearing or something. But he mentioned this to me. And in the person's words, he was like, say you na CS you born now. Say as if your body never open, you can never come out in between your leg. You don't know what women they really go through. So I was shocked. That was my first reaction. Like, are you kind of dismissing or making less of my own situation because I had a baby via C-section and saying, okay, because I did not go through the pains or, of vaginal delivery. And then I wouldn't understand. I mean, who made those laws, or why should one be glorified over the other? Why should one feel like a more superior way to motherhood than the other? So these are the issues. Like, I was shocked.
Wow.
Are you shocked as well?
Honestly, I'm not shocked because I see that a lot. I see it a lot, especially in this part of the world. I see it a lot of times. We really need a lot of sensitization.
Sure.
As well. So today's conversation is one that touches a lot of families, if not all families, especially in this part of the world. It's often whispered, misunderstood, judged even, and unfortunately, it's also stereotyped. We're talking about various routes to childbearing, from vaginal delivery to CS, to conception through IVF, to surrogacy, to adoption, to even choosing not to have children. We're going to talk about it all, dissect it all today. And joining us is the beautiful, amazing wife and mother, a woman who is very passionate about welfare of women in general. She's a businesswoman, a multi-versatile somebody.
Multi-talented.
Multi-talented.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please help me
too
welcome.
Much. Hi, ladies.
I like this energy.
Our beautiful
Hello, thank you so much.
Umukoro.
Thank you. Hi, guys. I'm happy to be here, honestly.
I like this energy you're giving me.
You want to know you give me the energy, like, since I've been in the studio.
You're giving us, like, I like
since
the
I've been in the studio, your energy is contagious. Is that it? So, yeah.
Well, I can't wait to dive into this conversation.
I don't have a choice but to match up, with your energies. Good to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for spending time with us and hanging out with us.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So first off, we're starting with route to childbearing. So when we talk about that, what comes to our mind? Like, there are a lot of things. We're talking about vaginal delivery. We're talking about CS. So let's start with vaginal delivery. Like, the whole stories around it, the misconception around it, the tags around it, and even the problems or issues or stereotypes, or should I call it stigma around it.
Well, I'm just grateful for women who go through, childbearing in general, and they come out and they're strong, they're well, their babies are alive. That's like one of the best gifts that you can ask for. Vagina, I've heard a lot of people who've had to, bear children through the vaginal period, and, there are obviously other methods as well.
Right.
So for me, basically, I can't relate to the experience.
Yeah.
Because I had my babies through CS. So I'd let someone else dissect it.
Okay. Coming from me, like today, earlier before we started, recording and stuff like that. I used to think, like, when they say stigma, I ask the question, like, I was relating to you that when I said stigma. Does vaginal delivery has any stigma attached to it? Because I think that would be the glorified way of, or what people who are misinformed or uninformed see as the natural way of
Delivery. Yeah.
So like, there is stigma attached to it. But, a very corrected that notion. We learn every day. So
Yeah,
of course there is, there's the trauma, rather than stigma. I don't know what to call it, but, the after effect of having a baby via the vagina. You've got the tears and having to deal with it.
Yeah.
You talked about elasticity and stuff like that. So just, dissect that.
Okay,
I used to think there's no stigma attached.
I know, because it looks like.
Let me just start with my story. Yeah. When I had my first baby, fine. The normal labor, they will tell you I had how many hours of labor. Okay, for me, it was up to 15 hours.
Oh,
of
wow.
labor. And I think because it's my first child, it was longer.
Okay.
Because I experienced that with my second and third. Yeah. It got to a point, when I got to about 7 cm dilated, it got to a point in my subconscious mind, I was asking myself, should I just give up? Legit asking myself that question. Should I just give up? And I said, no, if I give up, my family will come and hold my husband. Like, like there are things, if I give up, I'm not going to see my child. I'm so excited to meet her. And like, I had to talk myself back.
Yeah.
Because the pain was something I've never experienced before. So because with help, support system, like my mom, because I love my mom to always be there. I love her to always be there. I don't know, some women would choose their husband to be there with them. But personally, I don't know why, but I feel more.
No, but it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. Yeah.
It's something you're going through. So anybody who you feel would give you that support you need.
And has had experience,
not just my mom, because there was this particular doctor, she was doing housemanship. So she was a student doctor. Although she has been, she has experienced
labor.
She has experienced
birthing. Okay, so she was a mother. Oh, okay.
No, she's not a mother, but she has experienced it. She has been in
the theater and stuff. Yeah.
So in the labor ward, she was assigned to me, Laura. I'll tell her, rub my waist.
Thank you, Laura.
Honestly, thank you, Laura. I'll tell her, rub my waist. Sometimes I'll beat her hand, like out of the pain and everything.
Yeah.
I'll smack her hand. She'll just say, sorry. I'll tell her, go and call my mom. Even after that, they were calling me mommy's girl. So I was saying, go and call my mom. And my mom could not really bear the whole thing. She would just say, if I shout, she would just say, keep quiet, shout Jesus. I'll just shout Jesus. So it was a lot. It was really a lot. Then after that, thankfully, thank God, I delivered my baby. After I delivered the baby, they gave me, how they give the baby to you.
Yeah.
I was holding on to my baby. I was vibrating. I could not open my eyes clearly
to see.
I already knew it was a baby girl. I opened my eyes a little bit. I saw a very fresh, fine baby. I was grateful, but I told the doctor, please, you can carry her now.
Wow, like you were exhausted. Yeah.
I was weak.
Yeah.
Hearing stories like this. Wow.
Do you know, when it comes to stigmatization or all that, especially in this part of the world, in Nigeria, because I've lived in Nigeria more than I've lived
anywhere else.
In Nigeria, number one, they don't even ask, most hospitals, they don't ask, do you need a epidural?
Relief, yeah.
This pain relief, if you don't use, or if you use the pain relief, you'll feel
you're weak.
They will tell you, I use pain relief now, you use epidural, you use this.
Is it even accessible like that?
It is, of course it is accessible.
The private hospital?
Yes.
But the government hospital, do they offer that?
But they don't offer it. That's the thing.
They don't even
put
it
available.
It's available.
Is
it in the government hospital?
It doesn't come as an option, because this Jiget abroad, when we watch movies and then we hear experiences from those abroad, we hear, so I had epidural for like a vaginal delivery. I'm thinking
it was more like common.
But the government, I'm saying the government hospital, because this is where the government needs to come in.
Yes.
Do they have that available and they don't offer?
I'm very sure they have it. If they can have immunization, vaccines, all those things available, of course, that is part
should
of
be
the
available.
necessity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a necessity, but
Yes.
I mean, is it
Is it
available for the
available?
doctors to offer you?
So
That's another.
So
what I'm
I was
that's
going to
a
say
great
something.
question.
It's probably available. So because every C-section woman, if I put it that way, would need it. So
Yeah.
they probably have it available, but they just don't offer it
But you know,
to.
C-section, not really in the sense of epidural. In C-section,
okay,
so
so-
it's more like maybe an anesthesia or something.
Yes.
Not really epidural
Epidural.
for C-section, I think.
Well, we call it. It was called epidural in my time. So
okay.
it's just epidural for me. So that's all.
So back to vaginal delivery. So what are the stigmas?
Even the
Because I would really love to know. I think
if you use epidural, you're not strong enough.
Okay.
You didn't really do the work.
So it was assisted.
Yes, that did the work. Then they have this elasticity. They will tell you your vagina has lost elasticity.
Who's saying?
Like that's the general notion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most times, maybe men.
Yeah, even women. Do you know some women opt for CS just because they don't want to
tamper with
let's just say tamper. Yes.
Pelvic areas.
Although this goes back to normal with time. And with exercises like pelvic floor exercise, Kegel, and stuff like that. That's why you see a lot of women they
take it serious.
But which is good though. It's good. It's perfect.
They know why they're taking it serious. It's fine.
And
wow, this is quite thoughtful.
Is really, well, it goes back. It's really an issue.
Yeah.
Maybe not overly talked about, but it's part of the stigmas. Then what other stigma do we have? Like we have just a lot of them. You can have
I just look at it more as trauma from my own aspect, right? So I'm like, vaginal delivery, is it really, a lot of stigma attached in terms of the way society see, aside from assisted, like role the society for assisted delivery, because you were giving maybe a pain reliever, right? But the whole, when you go, you hear people say, quote unquote, I had normal delivery. And they are referring to vaginal delivery, right? Because it's the generally accepted or as, method, in this part of the world.
Sometimes it's termed the gold standard.
Yes, that is the, you hear me say, oh, my wife had a normal delivery, and everybody assumes, of course, it's the vaginal
like,
delivery.
please, what's normal?
Right? Exactly. Yeah. So I wouldn't really say it has a lot of stigma because that's what the society already accepts. So there but I would say trauma from the experience, maybe trauma from people having to deal with tears and healing from tears and just a lot of all the stuff that goes on.
And even when you say, oh, I had a cut, they can start to argue it and say, oh, me, I didn't have a cut.
It's another...
it's another something of, should I say something that some women are used to
bragging right.
I didn't have a tail.
I had a tail.
Oh, and my baby weight.
You see somebody, they'll say, your baby is big. We need to give you a cut. And you said, no.
And they end up that cut.
Having a tear instead. Even some tears are so terrible that they are like, how many degree tears? And someone mentioned something to me earlier, and he said, babies born through CS, they are fresher.
Meaning
that they don't go through the pressure or struggle or trauma of coming out through the pelvic, journeying through and coming out. That even sometimes when they journey through and come out, their head's shape will change and they have to start massaging their heads.
Well,
sometimes it's true actually. Sometimes it's true actually, but more often than. Like, it's not always.
It doesn't mean that they are fresher in that light. How I see it is babies born through or via C-section, right? They are not fresher than the ones born through vaginal delivery. The only thing is that the baby that had to journey through the birth canal. Of course, in labor, it's not usually just the mom laboring. The child too is also laboring to come out. So that's a fact that the child would have to go through that process of fitting into that birth canal and coming out. But that doesn't now equate to being not less fresher than the and their head shape.
Funny.
Yeah, it's funny. The person may be coming from the person is not so informed,
I was going to say something. You said, oh, the head might be deformed because the child had passed through.
Not really deformed.
No,
Shaped.
Shaped,
Yeah.
yes. So I was going to say that I had the same experience.
Okay.
I had a CS baby.
And your baby's head.
And she had, like, her head was pressed. And my husband said, what's happening here? You know, like fear of... Like,
No, has she, what was the story behind you having that C-section? Because that would mean if she had started fitting into the birth canal before had the C-section.
So that
can cause that.
Yeah, so she was breached. I was in labor for 2 days. I remember checking into the hospital on the 30th night. And then I didn't have her until the 2nd of July. And in all this, so do you know, the funny thing is, I actually catwalked to the hospital. Feeling like, yes, this is it. Here we go. Do you get? Only to get there, and then the show thing had already started coming out and all that. So I was so ready, like, oh, I think this is it, babe. Let's go. And then we get there, and I'm checked, and then the guy says, oh, you're only 2 centimeters gone, dilated. I'm like, how? No, like,
it should be more than that.
Do you know one of the worst things for me is that check, that dilation
sweeping
check. Jehovah, is that what it's called? I don't want to know.
When they check it, then they will sweep to make the dilation more.
Women, all I can say is our pain threshold is like off the roof.
Yeah, of course.
Because what it was for me, it was after that sweeping that the pain now really came on me.
Oh my God!
I'm like, what? No, it wasn't pleasant. And then I had to go through that, for hours, and then I got what's that help? Induction. I was induced.
There was induction is like the pain is another level.
Hey, gosh.
Skyrocket.
There was the suppository one where, they insert in your peasant. I think they call something suppository where they insert in your vagina and then the pain starts and everything. And then there's the injection one. So I had both ways. And I'm thinking, just because I want to be a mom. I want to be a mom. And then you now get to that point of, yes, this is the point of no return. And then you go through all these goes to say, and I'm like, okay. And then, it went like that. Around the evening of that Monday when she was going to come, we hear, she's losing oxygen. And then there's serious monitoring, those straps on, and then everything is going. And I'm like, well, all this time I'm like almost unconscious because I'm just there, like, I'm just tired. And then this first time daddy to be is, just, first time daddy to be is just anxious and, So that was it. So, it was the oxygen level was dropping. She was having hypothermia, everything inside all at once. Of course, my water had broken the first night, the night I checked into the hospital. So I was working with like not a lot of fluid for her to sort of, Well, eventually it was, okay, you know what, CS. And then to me at the time, it broke my heart because honestly,
this is the first person I'm hearing. See, sometimes when I want to share my experience, I would be very honest.
Don't open up.
No, I would be very honest to say that I was disappointed when I was told that, okay, we have to go in for a C-section. I was totally disappointed.
I think it's normal.
What caused that disappointment? It's because the society I live in, like,
CS. They've engineered our minds.
I'm like, how CS, But I tell myself, okay, I forgive myself for being disappointed. I didn't know. I shouldn't have been disappointed when they told me, because my spirit went low. Literally. So my husband was like, let's go and do this. So I'm like, CS. I was like, God, is that what we planned?
Yes. I know that prayer.
So hearing that from you, I can relate.
So, I was disappointed because, like you said, what you hear is, oh, normal, oh, vaginal and stuff like that. And then you're praying and then believing God for, that smooth sail vaginal delivery. And then, because everyone is praying for you. It will be vaginal, normal delivery, no operation, and you're like, amen.
Because pray against the CS.
In your head, you have to push like, a giant.
You're strong.
You're strong. Just do this.
Yeah.
And then when you think of most of our moms too, it was just, for them, vaginal like that.
That's the stigma we're talking about.
So that's very, very, terrible stereotype, and should I say stigma. So like I said, I was disappointed, and then I thought, you know what? Anyhow, just get this thing over and done with. And then the process starts. in 45 minutes, baby's out. What?
You begin to think,
what? I'm like, what? Do you know, for me, for my family and I, it was after that point. I'm like, babe, I'm not doing any
vaginal.
normal vaginal thing
Going
again.
through the whole labor.
Especially knowing that they're not going to sweep.
Right?
We don't need sweeping. I please. And, all that stress of labor, So that was it. Subsequently, he was elected and it was just good.
The thing is that there's also a misconception about, CS being an easy way out. In the actual sense, it's not, because there's a lot of complications that arise,
yes.
From having C-section,
Yeah.
if not managed well. So it's really not saying that one is better than the other, or one is an easy way out, or society saying that's okay, do na CS now, just go on.
It's really heartbreaking that people think like that.
Even insensitive talks like,
let me share an interesting story. I have this friend of mine that was sharing her birthing experience with me. So she said, she sat down on a chair and then fell, and then she hit her waist on the floor while she was about almost due, and so she was rushed to the hospital, and then because the baby was in distress, right? And then she had to go in for an emergency CS. And eventually she had her CS, she was successful. This is a private hospital. That's why you know that there's a problem. And then when the next morning, maybe the nurse on duty, right, on duty came. And then she was like, she looked at the baby and said, baby small now. Now why the mama go do CS? I mean, the mama lazy.
Those nurses are one of the problems, to be honest.
They are the problems.
Yes.
Something wrong. This is also a private hospital that you think would have more sensitization,
professional,
on this matter.
Yeah.
If it was a government hospital where they don't really pay attention. Fine. But it doesn't really excuse the government hospital too. But I'm just saying, like, expecting this from a private hospital too. I'm like, what is going on? How can a nurse say that?
No.
The mama lazy, because the beginning is small.
But see, when they start this sensitization, I feel the very first place is the health sector.
Yeah.
You see those health workers?
Yes.
Years ago, I went to visit my cousin. So me and my cousin,
they are so unemotional.
My older cousin gave birth. So me and the sister, my other cousin, went to visit her. So she gave birth through CS. They were in a room, like all these big rooms, different mothers, and the nurses will come. It's time to bathe. It's time to bathe the child. Yeah, bring you stand up. Why are you doing this? Like.
No,
even sensitive.
Yeah, even people that have vaginal delivery, you hear people see experiences that go tell you, open your leg. When they do, I follow you do.
Some funny
very nasty comments. Yes,
from women, like even mothers who have had that experience. They're like, open your leg. But like,
even some people, maybe
an easy feat.
Maybe their family members, they are not around at that moment. They are beating the children. So they are just trying to stand up. They're just trying to
manage.
So me and my cousin, we took it upon ourselves to like help those people. And I was looking at it. I was telling myself, this particular person is not worth being here.
Like, why not qualified? You shouldn't be here. My sentiments, exactly.
I'm telling you, because it fueled something in me that, oh my goodness.
It definitely triggers something.
Yeah, it triggers.
Not to talk of when you now have to experience it directly, because
the stigma is a lot.
Yeah.
The stereotype is a lot.
It's a lot.
I legit have a friend that told me that whenever she's in a circle and they're talking about childbirth and all that, that she would just be quiet. I'm like, why? She's like, when I start talking about C-section, they'll look at me as, C-section or, whatever. The other people are sharing that, oh, my labor was for, the thing that society glorifies pain. Glorifies that. And so a lot of women, I'm not downplaying the pain that we go through as women to have children, right? But if there's a way to even take that out, why not even take it? Why would somebody glorify the pain and then you're saying, my labor was for 1 week? My labor was for, and you hear, we can celebrate that, but not in a way to put down
the other woman
having children, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she told me legit that she would just be calm and be listening, saying she will even share her own experience about because of that, stigma or stereotype, that she would experience.
Let me even tell you something. So I have this friend. She was in labor. She labored for many days, just like you did. And she said she labored and the doctors came. They checked her. I think she was around 8 cm. She was almost there.
Yeah.
ATM. Then the doctor said, she's weak. She's really weak. Why not we go for CS? I'm going to give her 30 minutes. If she doesn't deliver within the 30 minutes,
Then CS.
CS. Then one of the nurses came and said, see, you have to do this thing. You no go do CS. Waiting for this one. Like, do you understand that kind of talk?
That's
You know, a lot
sad.
of people, they've lost their lives because they don't want to be stigmatized.
I'm telling you,
A lot of women, they've lost their life because they don't want to
gone
go
forever.
whichever way or whichever route, except from the
I have someone share with me
particular
that
time.
she knows a lady that she was advised to go for a C-section because the doctor must have checked and said, okay, whatever, this is why we should do C-section. And her reason for not doing is that her mother pushed. She was going to push, and she's no more. It's sad. You know, CS is not it should not be seen as a sign of weakness. It should be seen as a tool for survival in a technological advancement or whatever, science or medical advancement.
Yeah.
For survival. Not really, we don't have to prove anything to anybody saying, because imagine the lady saying that her mother pushed.
So she
would push.
Like, are you trying to break a record, or you're trying to keep like the family name
And
going
you can't
because
really,
I pushed?
No, you can't really even blame her. That's why we need to have these conversations. It's important. We need to keep on, because talking is also part of
Voicing it.
Yeah.
sensitizing people.
Yes.
Because unconsciously or in her whatever, her information is that she doesn't want to be in that category of CS or whatever. Her mother pushed, so she
was pushed, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's even sad because sometimes you see that as a prayer point.
Yeah.
Someone is seriously praying and saying, "I'm gonna get
No
CS,
operation, yeah.
I
I had those prayer points.
no, like serious. And you see a lot of women who you think are well informed fall into that trap. I won't say, I don't want whatever to qualify that stigma of that fear of having to be identified or associated with someone who had CS. Right? Meanwhile, you're going to save your life and then you lose your life in the end.
You know, this made me remember something. I have a woman very close to me. She gave birth via CS. The husband was not in town then because he had something very important, urgent. Well, giving birth is also very important, but it was very urgent, so they understood each other. Then, after delivering, the husband called. The other said, and she said, that they went to the theater. This was how it happened. It was actually a bridge. She couldn't push. The baby could not come out through the legs. Of course, it's not advisable. So they had to do the CS. The other said, what am I going to tell my friends?
Just imagine. Are you serious?
Friends.
Friends?
Have this
friends?
Because even the men too, some of them are either lack of information, whatever
They're
it is,
ignorant.
they are ignorant and they fall under that. Imagine someone saying, what should I tell my
friends?
In the last
at that time,
all of your friends, how you play?
I don't get it. There's this lady I know as well who was sharing her story, and she said that she was in so much pain, and apparently the baby was distressed, and then the idea to have a CS came through her. So she said, you know what, I would have a CS, but you know what, don't let my husband know. Whatever differences there are in the bills, I'll pay up, I'll cover. And I'm like, wow. Okay. When like
puts you in that condition.
You get, it's not even, it's about, aside, like, apparently he's not informed. She got informed earlier, and then she opted for, you know what, I'm not going to just go and die because, unalive myself because I lose the baby or get complications because you don't understand the risks involved.
Women
I'm just going to go and do this. And then that was how
they refused to take, and
a lot.
There's also another part of it, because in as much as we're saying, because it's just infusing the stereotype too, another part of this would be also the financial implications.
Yes.
A lot of people too fall under that category. They don't want to see it, not because maybe
they don't want it.
Stereotype included too, but majorly the financial burden. Because most times it's usually triple the price or double the price.
Yes.
More than double.
Yes.
So they kind of want to run away from it, and that's where I think the government and then the stakeholders need to come in, make maternal health care accessible,
Subsidize and accessible, yeah.
section
Yeah.
and all those things, because that is also a fact of someone running away from CS, and then, you know, and you hear stories, heartbreaking stories online of people saying they needed 500K to, you know, have the baby via C-section, and then that's how his wife died. You know, very sad stories.
But
That's also
sometimes-
another part.
Why don't hospitals do this, conduct the CS, then hold the mother and the child until they...
So I think they do. I think they do. So even private and government hospitals. And I also think now that some government hospitals have subsidized this particular thing. And that's why a lot of women would rather go and have the C-section in a government hospital.
Okay. Yeah.
So for instance, I'm going to a very good private hospital and I'm paying like 1-point-something million or almost $1 million for C-section. And then the bed space and stuff for like maybe a maximum of 5 days-ish, because they observe the baby there. In government hospitals, I've heard where, you know, you do your CS, you're paying 150,000. I heard this recently, and I'm like, what? You did CS 150? And so like, oh yeah. I'm like, okay.
Good.
In my head, I'm like, okay, nice. I hope it was well done. You know, just yeah.
That's
I think the hospitals who have started yes, to subsidize.
Do you know what I think another private hospitals do sometimes? I feel because they know that C-section makes more money for them. They will just tell you, oh, you're going to give birth through a C-section.
I had a feeling that was what we were going to say.
Because they have a lie just to obtain
more money.
So it's not a financial a way of going
defrauding.
So some people, they'll tell you, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. I'm okay. I feel strong. I feel okay.
So why should I go through that section?
I think as a person, if you know that you're fit, you know, if there's really nothing medically that's stopping you from being able to push.
What if when the doctor tells the
that's
person,
defrauding now? That's
defrauding.
You don't have to now conjure one story or whatever
to make you feel like you're at risk, and then your baby's like
your blood pressure is high. But that's why we should also try to inform ourselves, you know, get ourselves, you know, equipped with knowledge about, you know, conception, pregnancy, and everything, so that even if the doctor, of course, it's doctor's duty. He knows medically what, right? But sometimes you have to, okay, the baby is breached. Let me see. Let's do a sonogram or something.
How many hospitals will show you while you're arguing and saying, no, I think I'm fine. Your baby is breached. Would have the time to show you right there and then that, oh, see, this is what we're saying. And then the baby's legs are here around your pelvic walls and stuff, you know. But they make it so urgent, like you need to do it now.
The thing is, you can't really tell.
Or lose your life.
You can't really tell because you wouldn't want to come and start arguing with the doctor.
At that point, exactly. So you just go with it if you have the money.
This thing you said now.
No, it happens.
It's possible.
It happens.
I have someone that called me one time. I gave birth. I think I gave birth to my third baby. So they called me. How are you? I'm fine. Are you back? Yes, I'm home. What hospital did you use? I told them the hospital. They said, did you do CS? I said, no, I did not. At that hospital, anybody that goes there, they will tell you, CS, come and do CS. Then you must do CS.
Yeah, I've heard this story actually. I've heard this rumors or whatever.
Medical reason.
Yes, they just redirect you to CS. But that's really unfair.
Yes, and that's, I think, it's criminal.
It is
things to limelight. For anyone who is watching, that's a possibility.
People come out and say these things like, but why would you? I felt good. I was the baby's head.
I did not personally opt for CS. I just chose because it's just more financially profitable
for your organization.
Yes. Let's say look around that IVF, right? You know, a lot of people, even with the IVF way of conceiving, you know, you notice that with IVF, they are kind of like trying to hide or just do it low key. You know, if you look at it, it's because the society where we live in, especially here in this part of the world, they'll look at you somehow. The judgment, because you are going through, you know, IVF, so you cannot conceive on your own, like, you know, like it's in her power to want to conceive, you know, on her own without going through that process. That process is not even. It's not
child's play.
You know, there's a lot of dedication, a lot of work, a lot of follow-ups that you have to. It's not child's play. It's not even something. So if people come out more and share their experiences, share that. I think maybe it will help in reducing that stereotype.
Yes.
You know, what are your thoughts with the IVF? You know,
For the IVF, I think like you always say, the society, because you know the normal path or normal way they know is get married, conceive, natural conception, then delivery. So the IVF one, even if you hear something like in 9 months' time we'll call with a boy and girl, not even one child, is
A boy and your twins.
yeah.
So, and for them, typically they will look at women. They will look at you. 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, they will watch
all those womb watchers.
Plenty. Even if you have 5 children, five children, they will still be watching you. I don't understand.
Oh my gosh.
So the society plays a major role in all these things.
Definitely,
You need to
definitely.
relearn. You need to like sensitize
ourselves with
ourselves. We need to start opening up more. We need to talk about our experiences.
Because even talking
without
about
shame, without holding back. I mean, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Faintola, you shared something now. Say, even the IVF, right? Sometimes when it fails, you can imagine the trauma or whatever the people will go through.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people will come and say their story that I have like my IVF failed 4 times.
You
know, sometimes they even give up and say, I'm not trying again.
And these things are expensive, I hear. They are expensive.
The dedication, like it's not something, it's a lot going down.
Monitoring your cycle, you know, the medication that you have to, you know, the injectables and, you know, things you probably need to swallow just. And then you need
diet to help.
You need to distress as often as you can, or you know, sometimes most people are on bed rest throughout the period. You know,
to ensure that it works.
I don't know, and then it doesn't work. It is tough. It doesn't work, and then you have, you know, people looking at you like, so she even still tried this IVF. I thought it worked. I thought it was 100%. You know, that kind of mentality towards the IVF. Well, I know someone
need to do better. Really,
people need to do better. I know someone who had done IVF. She'd done it twice and it failed, unfortunately. You know, I felt bad for her because first she swung into depression. I empathized with her. It was not even nice. Into depression, and at some point it felt like she was alone in the whole journey. She wasn't getting the support that she needed from her husband, you know, and then family. So, you know, like I say, I keep saying women are like, we're strong, like off the roof. And I just imagine, you know, being in that person's shoes. I don't know how I would handle. Exactly. I don't know.
Even down at that moment, trying to even distress would cause them a lot of stress because they're overthinking it.
That's it. They're overthinking. So I don't know how you can actually distress, you know, especially when it fails. I don't know.
Thankfully, with, you know, the presence or the advancement in medical science and technology, you know, there are now various ways we can have children. But these stigmas keep on playing, these stereotypes, they keep on playing these roles of deterring people or discouraging people from even telling out their story, sharing their experiences, or even going for the process. Because you have a lot of people, for instance, surrogacy. Let's now talk about surrogacy.
Wow,
you have a lot of people, right? They have either the finance permits them to go for surrogacy, but they are kind of restraining from doing that because society or the judgment that comes with, or even like you said, the stereotype that comes with going to try surrogacy when they have the means to do that. I mean, of course, they may have tried, or for whatever reason they want to choose to go through
that route,
you know, and then they wouldn't explore that option because of the stereotypes and the judgment. Let's even dissect that.
I think it'll also be, like we said earlier, low key. You know, for a lot of people who choose that route for whatever reason. Well, I personally feel like your reason shouldn't be selfish. I don't know if I have a right to think in that direction for that person, you know.
How do you mean selfish?
So selfish as in, your body, you just want to maintain your stature, your stuff like that. Some people will come out and say, mental health reasons, I can't go through. Because honestly, I don't think I mind having another child via surrogacy, to be honest. I don't mind. Once I have the financial means and, you know, things I get, you know, I don't think I mind. Well, a lot of people just see these things as. I went online. Something else. This controversy recently online. I don't know if you followed it, and they were bashing this lady for having her child through the surrogate method.
Okay,
and
who was that?
It was Nancy.
I
I love
about
the fact that she was open about it and everything. She said, "You know what? That's your business. I have my child. It's my husband's sperm and my eggs. It's me. It's my blood. You know.
There's that controversy around is that really your child?
It is my child
because they are uninformed.
A lot of people even say you're taking matters to your own hands. You're playing God because you want to give birth or get it out.
The way I see it, with technology and advancement, from my faith, the way I see it, if God doesn't want that knowledge to be on earth,
then He won't even exactly.
So, because in university, right, I had this. I'm kind of digressing back to what we talked about, but it just packed that, So I had this friend of mine. We're talking about having babies, and she was like, that she wants to experience the natural way of having.
What is natural?
Just hear this story, right? And I was like, please, if there's anything to aid the pain, I would take it. For me, the way I see it, God has allowed that knowledge to be accessible to us. He has given those who, discovered whatever epidural, the wisdom to discover that. So I'm going to take advantage of it and take it if, I can access it, please. I wouldn't have to go through the painful way.
The rigor.
No.
Yeah, because even if you look at it, as at early 2000s or so, the rates women give birth now through CS has increased from 7% to around 27%.
Yeah, definitely increased.
It has increased because that would tell you that women have accepted it.
Yeah,
a lot of women are going through that route. If whether they choose it or whether regardless of what the society would say.
I was going to mention in my case too. I didn't think it was okay until it was okay.
Yeah.
Did you get?
Yeah.
So it took me going through that almost, vaginal experience, the labor and everything, to ending up having a CS.
Yeah.
To now really appreciate this CS thing. And I'm like, why? You know what? Subsequently, this is me. You have me.
Okay.
Like supporter, but just like you said, just to reiterate your point, that's what I was just saying, like, you know what? It takes people to experience the labor, and maybe all the strain that will come with, this is me having it normal, and then eventually ending up having to
go through
the operation to get your baby out, to appreciate that, you know what, I'm doing myself a favor, by not just staying in that ball. Like these women who you said, they're like, no, me, I'm not, never. And then they end up losing their lives or their baby's lives.
Stepping back, even our parents now, some of them, when maybe one of their daughters or anything gives birth through CS, you just notice that holding back
hostility.
CS.
Yes.
I don't know if I shared this here before, but I had someone who said, after having her C-section, right? She was in recovery. Of course, she had people come visit her at the hospital. And then her mother-in-law goes to say, just arrange yourself, let them know you have CS. What does that even mean? You had a major surgery, right? To bring out a baby. Someone is telling you to put yourself in order so that the visitors will not know you had
that CS. You had CS.
That's heartbreaking.
Even
for our efforts going through, because a lot of complications could have arisen, and then from the CS, it's not an easy feat for you to say cover.
See, I know women like Yabojo for their courage. When the daughter gave birth, I don't know, I'm not quite sure, but the picture they posted was looking like this.
It was a C-section.
Okay. So a lot of people were saying, now wow. But I love that she had the courage and mind and openness to put something like that.
Yeah.
Because she's just making it like, of course.
Yes, it happens and it's allowed. Yes.
It's fine.
Yes, it's just another way of having
And I have a friend, she gave birth to her first one via vaginal delivery.
Yeah.
So the second one, she labored. She labored up until 9 centimeters or so, I've forgotten. In fact, she just gave birth like a few weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
So she labored and the baby was big. And they had to go for emergency CS.
Oh, wow.
And she called me, she said, that she's in pain because she's angry that she even had to go through that. That she would have just opted because she has not even like done CS before because her first child. She said, I would have just opted for this
for the CS from the beginning. My sentiments.
Two different things.
You have a lot of people in category of the VBAC. Delivery after C-section.
Yes.
Those people, I don't know, I know someone who said, my next one I'll try and push. Like she's trying to prove something. You had your first delivery was a C-section, and then you're saying,
the next one
I'll try and push.
In her subconscious, she's trying to prove something.
Well, honestly, but I think
I'll try and push.
Sometimes it's okay.
It's okay.
It's very okay, actually.
Depending on the reason for the CS.
Yes. But if there's a need, you don't have to say how you try and push.
Yeah, exactly.
If
there's a need for CS.
I think people are watching you and then trying
to say, okay, you want to prove that you are let's even talk about that Hebrew women concept.
That one.
I have something for you guys.
Please.
Somebody actually told me that. But don't worry. When like how okay, I had my baby via CS, my first child. I was like, okay, don't worry. The next one you will deliver like Hebrew women.
Meaning,
what did I just do now?
I do get.
Did I deliver like a picture? Anyway, I deliver like an Igbo woman. So like that's Hebrew women, I don't know, conception or whatever, misconception. Like if you had your baby via a C-section, you don't qualify to fall under that route. I don't know.
I think we should dissect that.
Yeah, it's important because a lot of people use that to recognize people who go through C-section.
So this phrase comes from Exodus chapter 1, 15 to 19. The story of Hebrew women, or rather the story of Hebrew midwives. Pharaoh commanded them to kill Hebrew baby boys at birth, but they disobeyed. When he asked why, they replied, Hebrew women are not like Egyptian women. They are vigorous and give birth before the midwives arrive. This is a quote from the Bible, Exodus 1:19 precisely. So let's get what it means. More context. This wasn't a biological statement saying Hebrew women always had supernatural deliveries. It was more of a clever excuse by the midwives to protect the babies.
So they lied.
Wow, they lied.
Okay.
Oh,
so they're telling Pharaoh that before we arrive, they
already had the children.
Because they didn't want to kill.
So that's what religion is trying to now say. You give it like the Hebrew in a supernatural way.
Let me tell you the misinterpretation. Please. Some churches, cultures, they interpret this verse as a godly woman should deliver quickly without pain or without medical intervention like C-section.
Okay.
Then the problem now is that interpretation fuels stigma.
Definitely. I agree.
It fuels stigma. If a woman goes through long labor or use epidural or has a C-section, she may be told she lacks faith or is not a true Hebrew woman.
Wow. You see, that's sad. Like you said, it fuels the stigma. Because I would think, because I would think that the significance of this Bible verse would be that you've had your child in whatever route, or vaginal or C-section, healthy, strong, mother and baby fine. And out of the hospital.
Good.
That would be my interpretation of
a Hebrew woman.
That's why I was quite shocked when that person told me, don't worry, the next baby you deliver like the Hebrew women. So what did I just do? I mean, I'm fine. My baby is fine. I'm out of the hospital.
Fine.
Before even from my faith, before even the devil or whatever story comes up,
or the Pharaoh,
or the Pharaoh, like
in the
Bible
context, yes.
So before that, I'm out. I'm well. I'm fine. That would be giving birth like a Hebrew woman for me. That's what it signifies for me. But society would maybe have that literal interpretation. And
let me finish this. They said the truth. The story is about God rewarding the midwives for their courage, not about prescribing a single way women should give birth. The Bible nowhere condemns medical help, C-section, or other childbearing methods.
Wow.
So for me, my question is, why is this not amplified enough?
People need to read.
I was looking at it and I was saying, okay, this is a lie that they told to cover up for this.
In that context.
In that context.
God rewarded them for saving or covering up for the Hebrew women. Not saying that supernatural or whatever, it's the best, or is that what you're trying to say?
So why is it not pointed towards that direction
in that context? Yeah.
I don't know.
That makes sense. This brings the light to this.
I know they're trying to hold on to maybe the significance, that part, but the real truth, because they're using it to finish our ears.
They're misinterpreting the Bible verse, or that So I have a thing with when I have to study the Bible.
I don't have just one way of interpreting it. It should be interpreted in multiple ways. This one is another part. Then the significance too of giving birth and be fine with your baby and living or whatever. It should be another part. That's what I'm thinking.
I was going to just say that, there's something about when you read the Bible, study, whatever it is that you're studying, the preceding verses, and everything, so that you get the meaning of that part that you're reading. So now we've chosen, deliver like a Hebrew woman, and then everybody's peddling this as, and even religious leaders. Old folks. Oh, Hebrew woman. What does it mean? And we've just seen that it doesn't mean that, you are going there to just push the baby out and then you are good to go. But there's more to, the real context of the Hebrew woman in this case is, look, they were protecting children that Pharaoh already instructed them to kill.
It makes sense.
So it has nothing to do with the woman's strength or the woman's normal delivery method or whatever. It has totally nothing to do with it. A lot of people need to relearn these things, because they're putting out a lot of fallacy out there, and then people
pick one
narrative, honestly, and then amplify.
It's just like the submissive narrative. If you look at the preceding verses, it was like, husband, love your wife as Christ loves the church. And then if you read things wholesomely, you'll be able to grab
them together and then
not just taking one part, amplifying it, choosing the meaning you think. The other day on the show, we dissected, on the podcast, we dissected the jack of all trades stuff, where we said society has deleted one part and started using one part in a condescending manner. This thing you said has brought, we need to read things or consider facts wholesomely, not just choosing one part. That makes sense. I agree.
Wholesome. Wow.
So now, I think we should talk about adoption.
Oh, that's another adoption.
This is not
that's
common
another
here.
route. So
Is it?
It's beginning to, but it's still not. It's beginning to
gain traction.
Yeah.
I've always heard about adoption. Maybe not many people agree to it, because you hear some men say, oh, never, it's not from my loins, it doesn't even have my blood. And then some women in desperate situations to just have a child to care for. I'm like, no, I just want to go with this, like I don't mind, I'm okay. But now, I think what we should say about now is, even the men are now coming on board to say, you know what, you want, you're ready, yes. And then, they get the support of the men.
I was privileged to experience a conversation between two women, and then one proceeded with adoption, got her baby, and they don't want to discourage her in saying that. I will speak it in Igbo, but I will translate it. So I need to really whether or not it means like this child you are bringing. Is a mad person that gave birth to the child, and you're bringing it under the guise of adoption.
In other words, there's probably madness in the family or something.
Do you get something like that?
Wow.
It's a lot.
It's a thing, actually.
It's a lot, and it's sad.
That's a thing.
Because a lot of babies, a lot of children are now, in orphanage homes that should have gotten a home if this stereotype or this stigma it didn't exist. So they would have gotten a safe space. And family, like we said, I believe, family shouldn't be something related to blood. No, because for me, the whole essence of having a family is having a close community that looks out for you, that nurtures you. It's not a must that it should be blood related. That's what I think. So that these children can have a home, a family to cater for them, to closely look out for them.
That's the sad part, because especially in Nigeria, and even a lot of cultures in Nigeria, like the Igbo culture, for instance, they adopted a male child, and they say, okay, this is the male child. They will never regard that person.
They can't even inherit.
They will never regard that person. as the male child, because they will tell you he's not part of our bloodline.
That's sad.
And that's why this is another low-key venture for people who go into adoption. Is kidding. So you see a woman who's been struggling for years to bear children, she doesn't, and then she and her inner caucus, so her husband and family maybe agree, and then she disappears for a while. And then she comes back with a baby, and you're thinking, but she was not pregnant now. Monitoring spirits. Because she had to keep it low-key, because family, friends will frown at it, and she won't get the support that she needs. So,
and acceptance too for that child. And the child is raised in a lie. How?
Well, sadly, but I know that the Western culture are open to telling this child, even at a young age, that you were adopted. We have information about your birth parents.
When you're ready, you will take
when you're ready.
And that doesn't negate or stop the love we have for
you.
And the child will appreciate, you nurturing them, grooming them to become who they are today.
Yes.
So I'm glad we're having these conversations. I think it's very important.
And even foster care. Talk about foster care.
Oh wow, foster care.
It's a thing around here.
Yeah, it is.
Around here, it's really
sort of in a kind of way. Do you know why?
Maybe not called foster care.
We as relatives, as aunties, as uncles, we bring in
some of your
children.
We'll
take care of them.
Yes,
so I believe that's part of the fostering.
Okay,
that makes sense. Yeah,
because most times you look at it like, oh, she's a relative. But even people that are not related to us, quite related to us, maybe they need help or a place to call their home, maybe for a while or not.
Some people are often even. Do you know there's a thing about people being kind of what's the word now? Deterred, or for lack of word, from proceeding with the process of adoption, like adopting a child. They will now put the fear in them that this child is not your blood, it's not your own. So when you put all this effort in raising this child, the child will not still look at you as a mom or turn against you or stuff like that. That's another thing.
I was going to say something around that as well. So I've heard of cases where, you groom this child, take this child as your own. The child has your last name, and then, at some point the child grows and then they want to feel like independent of themselves, leaving their adopted parents around and then going on their own to look for the birth parents. There's this particular story I heard of how, it became like a rebellious venture, for the child. And, he became rebellious. I think there was something about unaliving the adoptive parents. So
really?
Honestly. And I'm like, why? Like, why are you making it an issue? These people dumped you wherever, for lack of, I don't know.
Whatever reason.
Whatever reason. Do you understand me?
And then trained you as their own.
For years, put you in school, through school. Everything you want, they provide. And then you say, I think in this case it was, you didn't tell me that I was adopted. And I'm like, what difference does it make?
Giving you.
I'm like, what difference does it make? You, these people, like, what kind of mentality do people have? Somebody invested, like, they loved you like theirs, for so many years, and then you're like, they didn't tell you, and then you go out, hunt for your so-called biological parents, and then you come back to unalive these people and say they're not.
That's sad.
If that's not sickness, I don't know what to
say.
Those
are the reasons why they frown at it.
That's
why. Adoption.
And then you withdraw.
And you
say, please, I beg, I don't want drama. Yes. So that's it.
But that's the flip side. It's going to also be a good thing to, because
people, we tend to look at things, we tend to dwell on the negatives a lot. So when they see, it happened here, I beg, I'm not doing. And then, the withdrawal starts like, oh no, you know what?
I think with adoption, if you have the right support, do your research, you can actually go, proceed with it.
But is the procedure easy enough?
In Nigeria.
Is it enough? Is it straightforward enough?
In
Nigeria.
Is it?
So what I know is, this might come as a surprise, but I actually attempted adoption.
Wow.
Why attempt?
I felt like, this childbearing thing, let me just rest. Let me just care for somebody who really needs that care. And I attempted to start the process. So going to the office, there's this social welfare office here in Abuja. And then I went there to make inquiries, and then I was told, bring this, bring that. And to me, it felt like I was in a hurry to just have this, cute baby already. And I remember one of the officials I spoke to at the time was like, "Oh, madam, it might take. It depends. It might take 6 months. It could take up to 10 years, 5 years. If we're going to go through the books." And I'm like, "Oh wow, let me just go and dust myself up and take it and just do what I have to do, you know." And then I was just discouraged at that point.
You know what's making you laugh? You know, he said it could take 5 years.
That's literally how the madam, it depends. It could take 6 months, sometimes 5 years. I'm like,
5 years. Is it that they've not conceived the baby?
Of course, the baby
is not.
They are babies.
I've not been conceived and brought to life.
They're probably babies waiting.
Is that for security reasons or for what?
I feel like they were just trying to
why are they making the process cumbersome? This will also even deter people.
So for me, in my case, that was it. I was like, I beg, I'm not doing it again.
Go try again.
I'm not doing it, please. I've changed my mind now, self. I'm not doing it.
Oh my God.
So what's the way forward?
This is the highlight of it for me.
Forward. Of this stereotypes, these issues, this mentality that we have, this mindset. How do we move forward?
Well, first of all, I think we talking about it is already a step in the right direction, because having these conversations, putting it out there, amplifying that these are the stereotypes that exist is already a way forward, you know, for me.
I think, I agree.
These conversations should be had. You should have it without fear of being judged or, trying to go low key and you do something. This should also be, there are various ways to having children, and whatever route you go through, say your story.
Amplify your voices.
Yes,
it's okay.
Yes. Share your story, like with your full chest, so that
it's
people
okay.
know, and then it's their personal decision to decide whether, you know what, okay, I think I'll go with this one, I'll go with that one.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah,
and I think the stakeholders too, because you see the health workers that they fuel this stigma. It's religious leaders too.
And it's so sad.
You know, family elders that, because most of, for instance, in the case of family elders or family, sometimes you find that if you look deep into the situation, for example, a husband is scared of telling his people that his wife had a baby via C-section.
Or they adopted or something.
So these people should accept this without judging the woman or seeing her as less of a mother or a woman.
Without back talking it, whispering
and saying.
Because of our mindset, I feel like it will take a while to get to that level of freedom to decide what birthing methods work for you or what
route you want to
route. So including the adoption, works for you and your family. It's a thing, and I feel like it will take a while to reorient, people, relearn, unlearn. Because I think for a lot of us now, so for me now,
and
like in the case of
to do better, they fuel it. It starts with them.
In the case of like the CS thing, I told you now I was normal. And then until it happened, and then I went through the experience firsthand. I'm like, what?
It's not.
You didn't tell me that there's this one. You know, that kind of. Thank you. What's the big deal? As long as you're good, your baby is healthy, you're healthy, and it was well done. It was a well done procedure. I saw a video where they were showing the layers that they cut through to get to the baby. I'm like, what?
Do you know,
like
another
6 layers or something?
Yes. Do you know when they get to the muscle, the stomach muscle, they don't cut through, they have to separate it. So I'm thinking, so you separate it. What will bring you back? I will separate with you. Put it back. I think that will be one of the reasons of the causes of DR, dissected or what's it called? Recti or some DR, whatever. Yeah, that's so. Aside from this stigma too, let's even talk about the financial burden this thing puts. I'm glad you're able to share on the podcast that now the government is beginning to subsidize it, and it doesn't stop at that. They should do more. Like they should subsidize it to the barest minimum. Where people, because a lot of people are gambling with their life. We are losing mothers every day because they cannot afford CS. Aside even the stigma, the financial, because sometimes it's triple the price or whatever. So government should even do more. NGOs, financial institutions can even partner to make, make maternal health care accessible at a very subsidized rate.
I think one other thing I really hold on to that needs that change is these health workers. And these are, most of them are old women who have supposedly had experiences over time of these things, and you still come out and say one demeaning thing about a young mom who's
Without
just trying
empathy.
to, without empathy. Like,
How do you even instill empathy in someone
no,
who
I'm
does
sorry,
not have
yo.
empathy?
Fortunately for me, like in the hospital that I've used to birth, like most of my children,
Yeah.
they've been professional. But there was this one case that the nurse just had an attitude. I reported her immediately because I can't have that kind of bad energy around me.
For me, that should be a
That's
reason
part of the way forward.
I reported her.
person.
Yeah.
That
Immediately
should
they
be,
changed her.
because how you help care worker if you don't
Okay.
have empathy?
Yeah.
That should be
You're being
a ground
insensitive.
for dismissing, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm going through all that in my mind, in my body, and then somebody just said,
Yeah, a lot
I'm
of
like,
women
please,
complain about
attitude.
Yeah, a woman
I
like
beg
a
that.
lot of women complain about that when they go to hospitals
Yes.
and the nurses are just being
nasty,
Yeah.
bunch of women.
Doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Say when they do, I did there with you. Like, imagine
Simple
without
talks.
empathy. How even a health worker if you don't have empathy?
It's-
That should be
no.
inculcated in their curriculum when
They
they
need to,
Yeah,
they need
it's part of
to
the-
check
yeah.
every
Training.
time.
It's
Yes.
part of the trainings they give
get.
to them.
And make sure that you
Yeah.
say the right things, the things that are encouraging to these women who are going through that situation at that time.
Enigma Woman.
It's game time.
I mean,
always.
most favorite part of the session. I like the game time.
Are you ready?
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. So this game is called Myth or Fact. I'll give a statement, then you tell me if you think it's myth or a fact.
Awesome.
So IVF babies are weaker than naturally conceived babies.
Really? Myth.
100% myth. 100% myth.
Okay. Adopted kids can never love their adoptive parents like biological children.
Should I be responding?
I know you just
No,
said
they
the story.
can. They can.
Yeah,
they can.
They can.
And I think it also has to do with like the way that these children were raised.
Yeah.
No sense of entitlement and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So yeah, they can.
Yeah.
Okay. Because even as they're growing older, who do they consider their parents? Their
It has
parents.
to be.
Yeah.
You know, I've also
And they love
seen
them like
Yeah.
their biological children.
children. Exactly. I've also seen situations where they find out who their biological parents are, or maybe all along they've already been in the picture, but they still appreciate
And
100%
care that-
their adoptive parents. So yeah, it's possible.
It's normal for couples to face delays in conceiving.
Facts.
Now, let's get to the next one. Finish the sentence. A child is...
A gift.
A blessing. But that's even my name, Umamaka. Means a child is beautiful.
Beautiful.
It's a good thing.
It
Umamaka.
is.
You even forgot to say
Maka.
responsibility.
We were not thinking about that part.
Yeah, because for whatever reason, a
Yeah.
child is beautiful.
Yeah. Family means...
Love.
Family means community. It mustn't be blood related. The community that, is closely looking out for you.
Knitted.
Yeah.
Help. Okay. Let's get to the next one. So next one, society says versus we say.
Okay. I like that one. Because we have to be audacious about what we say. We must accept it.
Society says natural delivery.
Yeah. Okay.
Society says vaginal birth or vaginal delivery is natural delivery.
Okay. And we say any other method is
Yeah.
very acceptable and,
It's
very okay.
There are various routes to having these children.
Yes.
There's nothing such as
surrogacy,
natural.
adoption. Yeah.
So society says marriage is not complete without children.
We say what makes a marriage complete is love, sacrifice, other than just children.
Yeah. Commitments.
Yes.
Companionship.
Yes.
Okay. That's it.
Abigail, please let's see you writing the stories and the narrative. Yeah. But it's been an interesting conversation with you.
I know, right?
Thank you for
coming.
coming to spend this time with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a good time on here.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
If you've
Will you come next time?
I shall, yeah. If you guys would have me.
of course.
Maybe we'll talk about something else.
Yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
If you've been with us to this point of the podcast, thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for finding these conversations interesting and very needful. I'm just going to leave this out there. Being a woman does not it doesn't matter how you have come to become a mother, the route to which you became a mother, but it is the love, the sacrifice, the care that follows that determines, how you should be seen as a mother. Thank you for sticking with us. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe, like our videos, share with your family and friends, and leave your thoughts in the comment section. Please don't forget to follow us on our social media platform, on TikTok, Thread, and Instagram at Enigma Woman Podcast. Until we come your way again. Bye.